Alright, I'm back again. This will hopefully be a very brief video. Rumor has it that New York is wanting to prosecute Trump because of the money he paid out to that Stormy Daniels or whatever it is. You know, the woman who wound up having to pay Trump money and her attorney is in jail for fraud. They're going after him for paying her hush money. There are people right now saying that if they actually arrest him, it will guarantee his winning the election. And I can foresee that because there's a lot of people on both sides that I have seen online who they recognize this as nothing but a political hit. Now, why do I say this? I'll have a link below why I say this. I believe it was between 1997 and 2017. Congress paid out, had a hush fund set up, and paid out $17 million in settlements to shut people up. And you're talking about, you have Pelosi boasting about how it's high time ex-presidents be held accountable. How about people in Congress who use taxpayer money as hush funds? I'm more worried about that than anything Trump did with, campaign donations or anything else. Where's the accountability for that? Oh, there is none. You swept it under the rug. So don't come at me with the, we got to get rid of Trump, we got to prosecute Trump. Everyone knows this is a political hit because they don't want him running again. They don't want him to be elected again. I don't necessarily want him elected again. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but at the same time, I know when something hinky's going on and something hinky's going on with this. And what is this? And it's funny how all of the Republican candidates have been, or a lot of the Republicans in general, are very quiet about this, except for one, and his name is Ramaswamy, I think is his name. I really didn't know anything about him to this last week when Scott Adams mentioned him. Or maybe it was the week prior, but it's only been less than 2 weeks. So he's the only one standing up, and it's not like he's saying anything divisive. He's not saying he supports Trump. What he's saying is, this is a politically motivated. It don't matter who the individual is, you should be decrying it. It don't matter the orientation, it don't matter who it is, what have you. If it looks like it's a political hit, which it kind of looks like this is with Trump, because let's face it, $17 million paid out by Congress in hush funds in like 20 years. That's practically $1 million a year in hush fund settlements from Congress. So no. Don't come at me and expect me to think that this is completely on the board, legal and everything else. Plus, it's my understanding, and I have not actually looked into this, but I've heard that the statute of limitations is 4 years for what he supposedly did. Well, let's face it, he did do. But statute of limitations is 4 years, and this is 7 years ago, and they're coming after him. Again, you can see the motivation on this, and you can see why this would piss off a lot of people and push them to vote for him. Right? Because he'll be looked like he's such the big threat that they absolutely have to do something to keep him from running. That's what it's going to look like. That's what he can spin it as. And trust me, he has the know-how and ability. He can spin it quite well. So if you don't want to pretty much guarantee a Trump win, don't arrest him. But if you do, hey, you'll have to deal with the consequences. Plus, let's face it, there's multiple people calling for boycotts, whether it's to do a bank run or have truckers go on strike, what have you. Could you imagine, with the bank situation as is, if people were to just do something like that? Even if it's for a few days. Those 186 banks that are in the red zone to have a fallout for Signature Bank and SVB that had the same unrealized losses or whatever it is that they had. Yeah. Could you imagine if enough people that do business with those banks were to sign on to do a bank run? FDI, there's nothing the FDIC or the federal government can do to shore things up to keep it from absolutely collapsing things. So not only will you do a hard crash to the economy, but you may actually wind up guaranteeing Trump gets reelected in 2024. I wonder how many people on the left understand that. Or how many people that just don't like Trump and don't want him reelected understand that. The last thing you want to do with Trump is to make him a martyr. And that's seemingly what they're trying to do. Because like I said, Congress, and it's both sides of Congress, let's face it, but Congress, $17 million in hush fund settlements, and they want to act like they're the moral authority. And let's face it, Republicans and Democrats both were utilizing it. They were both dipping into funds. And you still want to puff up your chest and act like you're a moral authority? Wrong. You're wrong. Okay? So if you don't want Trump to run again, that's fine. But whatever you do, don't make him a martyr, because you'll just make it worse if you don't want him reelected. That's just my thoughts on the matter. I'll have a link below. It'll even be from CNN, because that way people can't say, "Oh, you're using Fox News." No, I'll use something from CNN, because that usually deflates the people left of center a little bit. But yeah. Let me know what you think. I may or may not actually have an opportunity to see your comments, because right now I'm not getting notifications when people are commenting on videos, and I've noticed a few comments on there just from scrolling through my video feed and my uploads, and I've seen a few things, but it hasn't been because I've received any notifications. No, this isn't some sort of censorship or anything like that. It's some whatever whatnot that is causing this. I don't know what it is. I'm not that tech savvy, and I don't care enough about YouTube to argue with them on it. Not that YouTube really cares. I'm not big enough that they would care about someone like me anyway. Anyway, like I said, I'll have a link below showing the hypocrisy of Congress. You take that, Nancy Pelosi. Later.